The president of the Heart of Africa, Felix Tshisekedi, was sworn into office for his second term in Kinshasa yesterday. Tshisekedi was re-elected in December at the country's polls, despite the opposition accusing him of electoral fraud. The elections on the 20th of December were plagued by delays due to logistical challenges and delays in opening of voting stations, resulting in the elections being extended by a day. Opposition leaders have collectively called for a return of the elections, saying the decision by the Electoral Commission to extend the polls by a day was unconstitutional and a planned electoral fraud. We speak to Africa Analyst Bwasa now in terms of the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Monsieur, thank you very much for your time this morning. When you take a look at what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, how would you characterize it in present day?
Good morning, Dudu, and compliment of the season. Just to start your interview and replying to your question, I would just say that the blind are leading the blind, and men cannot make laws, they cheat themselves. They've been seduced away from the divine law. All sides are wrong at the present. As we speak, you're mentioning the opposition, as well as the power that is occupied by Felix Tshisekedi. There are dark forces in the Congo for many years, for decades, for centuries, that are leading that country. And the decision today, or the situation today for the Congolese, the ordinary Congolese, is just in disarray. It is in a mess because they don't understand what is going on. We can't have the elections that have been cheated, and the person who has led those elections, Kadima, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, declaring that the elections were very good, and yet those elections, not only were they cheated in the machinery, but they were also cheated in the housing, in the homes of those that are in position of leadership. So it's really a disgrace.
What is it that the world needs to understand about what life is like for people, for instance, in the east or in the north of the country? What does the world need to understand about what life is like for the everyday Congolese?
Well, what everybody needs, the viewers need to understand in the Congo, first of all, in the eastern side, we have had an endemic war that have persisted since 1997 that include what I usually call Congocide. That means the Congolese being killed in silence, and more than 12 million Congolese have been killed. Women are being raped in terms of gender-based violence that create what we call the weapon of war. And they live below the index of poverty that is less than $1, while those that are in power are embezzling funds and building houses and buying castles overseas. In Kinshasa itself, there were floods in the past 2-3 days. And those floods meant that people had lost their lives. But we didn't see the government, even though he was elected, we didn't see him walking around or checking the citizens of the Congo. In the west of the Congo, in Bandundu province, going to Kinshasa, we have other pockets of violence and conflict. And there are also human trafficking that is recently being happening in the Congo. So the situation is dire for the Congolese people, while those who were in the stadium, and I would say this, I'm going to repeat this again, Solzhenitsyn, a Russian philosopher, said, people are better ruled when they are hungry. And that's what we saw at the stadium, those who went to applaud for Tshisekedi, who actually stole the desires and aspirations of the Congolese people.
How long has the situation in the Congo been like this for?
Well, the situation in the Congo has been like this since the assassination of Patrice Emery Lumumba in 1961. We were commemorating his sudden death, gruesome killing, after 63 years while he was assassinated. And since then, Congo has not been able to recover its dignity. And also, I may say, it's not just since 1960, because in my belief, the African continent haven't yet had its independence due to the mere fact that we are not emancipated and we don't have dignity. But since the 1885 Berlin Conference, Congo has been going on through that. And we can also amount and descend to the slavery trade, where more than 40% of the people who went into slavery were from the Bantu Congo, because what they're trying to do is to exterminate the Bantu Congo. And my call will be to all Bantu people to rise and try to defend this country through a dialogue. We are at the precedent of what we call civil disobedience in the Congo at the moment.
I think that was going to be the next question, Mr. Bwasa, sir. Who is going to come to the aid of the people of the Congo when this has been happening for so long, where you have allegedly, according to reports, children who are mining cobalt that comes out of the belly of that earth? And so who is going to come for the people of the Congo? Who must do what so that the story of the Congo can finally be aired?
Well, I think at the moment, and this is what I intended to do today, is to take this opportunity to not only to criticize, but what has happened has happened. And this is my calling to Mr. Tshisekedi, whom I'm not going to call president yet, that it can convene what we call a dialogue. It has happened before in the Congo when Mobutu was the president in 1992. He convened all the political parties that were in opposition, all the civil society, and all members of the society, including the farmers, in 1992. And they gathered and they tried to find a solution. And then we would have a new constitution so that everybody would be there and trying to find the solution that is appropriate, finding a rainbow for that country that has been crying for many centuries. So for me, it's each and every child of the Congo, and those that are not Congolese, African leaders, as well as those that have got the human rights at heart, to come and say, okay, sit at this table, don't go out and find a solution. That's the only way we can do that, so that we salvage the human lives worldwide, as well as in the Congo and in Africa, because there are many other conflicts in Africa as well.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning. Bwasa is an Africa Analyst.